In God's hands, peace begins. Nothing escapes God's eyes. He sees your tears when no one else notices, hears your silent sighs when you think you're alone, and remains by your side when everything around you seems to be falling apart. In this life, we all face wounds that mark our hearts, disappointments that seem to sink us, and internal battles that no one understands. But there is one truth that doesn't change, a promise that remains firm. God never abandons you. Before beginning this beautiful reflection, I want to invite you to follow our channel, Walk with Christ. Like it and share it. This motivates us to continue creating these beautiful prayers. On those gray days when your soul is heavy and hope seems distant, remember this: you are in the hands of the Creator, and in His hands there is no fear that endures, no wound that cannot heal. He sustains you even when you feel you can't go on. His love is the strongest refuge, His grace the sweetest medicine. Throughout life, most people have felt the pain of rejection, loss, illness, and uncertainty. But God doesn't allow these experiences to define you. He uses them to strengthen you, to teach you, to bring you closer to His divine purpose. Because every fall brings a lesson, and every tear shed in prayer will blossom into blessing. Sometimes we feel that God's silence means abandonment, but that's not the case. God's silence also speaks. Sometimes it's His way of working deep within, healing what we can't see, preparing the ground for something much greater than we could imagine. Have you ever felt like no one understands your pain, that you carry an invisible weight that no one else seems to notice? It's in those moments that God is closest. Even if you don't see Him, even if you don't feel it, He is at work. He is caressing your soul with divine tenderness, speaking to your heart in heavenly whispers that can only be heard when you are silent within. When faith becomes strength, having faith doesn't mean everything will be easy. It means that even when things get difficult, you choose to trust. Trusting that each day has a purpose, that every obstacle has a lesson, that every person who comes and goes in your life has a divine purpose. Faith is the shield of the soul. It's that whisper in your heart that tells you don't give up, even when logic tells you otherwise. It's closing your eyes and keeping walking, knowing that God goes before you, opening doors, removing thorns, making paths straight. Perhaps today you are going through a difficult season. Perhaps there are illnesses that worry you, children who have drifted away, dreams that have yet to be fulfilled. Perhaps you have lost people you loved deeply. But even in those losses, God remains faithful. He is the God who restores, who renews, who transforms what is broken into something glorious. Today, I want to remind you of something powerful. Your tears are not in vain. Every prayer you've ever said, every cry in the early morning, every sigh, plea, all have been heard. Heaven is attentive to you. God does not forget. God does not ignore. He always arrives, and when He arrives, He changes everything. God speaks to you in the midst of silence. Sometimes what hurts the most isn't what's happening outside, but what's breaking inside. That sadness that no one understands, that emptiness that no success can fill, that battle between what you show the world and what you truly feel in your soul. But even there, God is with you. He doesn't need words to know you. He knows your story, your heart, your deepest intentions. He knows what you've kept quiet, what you've endured in silence, what you long for and fear. And the most wonderful thing is that He doesn't judge you, but looks at you with love, like a father who desires to heal every corner of your being. Did you know that God often responds with profound peace more than with words? That peace that calms anxiety, that drowns out mental noise, that soothes the soul when all seems lost. That's His way of embracing you. When you feel like you can't take it anymore, don't despair. Brokenness is fertile ground for miracles. Where there is humility, God pours out His grace. Where there is pain, God provides balm. And where there is faith, even the size of a seed, God makes the impossible flourish. God's presence is your refuge. Sometimes we think God is only there when everything is going well, but it's in the storm that His presence is felt most strongly. Like when everything goes dark and suddenly a light appears. That's God, the one who appears when you need Him most. He is not limited by time or circumstances. He can do in a second what would take you years. He can heal wounds that have been open since childhood. He can give you rest, purpose, identity, and courage. Because God doesn't just heal, He also restores. When you go through life, don't focus on what you lost. Look ahead to what God is preparing for you. The enemy wants you to look at the past, but God wants you to look to heaven. He tells you, "Do not fear, I am with you. I will not leave you nor forsake you. I am your strength." So, keep walking. Even if you don't understand the path, even if there are tears, even if others don't understand you, you do not walk alone. God's hand holds you, and His love guides you. Every step you take in faith, however small, brings you closer to the eternal purpose He has for you. God gives you new opportunities. Every day is a new opportunity, a new beginning. God does not tire of you. No matter how many times you have fallen, He keeps calling you. He keeps waiting for you. His mercy is renewed every morning, and that is more than enough to start over. Sometimes wounds have made your heart hard. You have learned to smile on the outside and cry on the inside. You've had to be strong for others when you wanted to give up yourself. But today, God tells you, "Rest in me. I will fight for you." Stop carrying only what was made for you to carry. I can handle that. I can handle your doubts, your fears, your guilt, your pain. Just give it to me. Trust. Learn to live in the freedom I give you. You were not created to live a prisoner of fear or of the past or of the opinions of others. You were created to fly. As the eagle soars above the storm, so your soul will be strengthened when you set your sights on the eternal. You are not here by chance. God has a plan, a purpose, a divine reason for everything you have experienced. Nothing has been in vain. When you feel like no one understands you, there are moments in life when your soul silently cries out, when you feel that even though you are surrounded by people, you are actually alone. Words that don't comfort, hugs that don't soothe, answers that don't come. But right there, when you feel like no one understands you, God does. God doesn't need you to explain your tears. He knows their source. He doesn't expect you to always have strength. He wants to be your strength when you no longer have any. He doesn't demand perfection, only a heart willing to trust, to surrender to His will. Sometimes we think God is far away, but the truth is, He has never left. He walks beside you every step of the way, protects you even when you don't see Him, and works in the invisible when all seems lost. Even in the silence, God is speaking. He is working. He is working for your good, even if you don't understand it yet. God says to you today, my son, my daughter, I have not forgotten you. I have you tattooed on the palm of my hand. I have seen every tear, every struggle, and I will not allow your story to end in defeat. What seems like an end is only the beginning of something greater. Your life has a purpose. God does not create by accident. Everything He does has intention, love, and purpose, and you are no exception. You are part of an eternal plan. You are not here just to survive, but to live with meaning, with purpose, with faith. Many times, the wounds of the past make you think you have no value, that you don't deserve anything good. But today, God wants to break those lies. You are worth the blood of Christ. You are loved with a love that never fades, that never changes, that is not measured by what you do, but by who you are, a beloved child of the Creator. Do you know what that means? That your story doesn't end in failure, that every fall is an opportunity to rise stronger, that every loss will be restored, that every tear will be rewarded with joy. God didn't bring you here to leave you halfway. He will complete the work He began in you. And even if you only see broken pieces now, He already sees the finished work. Just trust. Allow God to be the author of your story. Open your heart to forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful weapons God has given us. Not because the other deserves it, but because you deserve peace. Carrying resentment only feeds the wound, but letting go, forgiving, frees the soul and allows God to work freely in your life. Forgive, even if they don't ask for forgiveness. Free yourself, even if the pain is still there. Forgiveness doesn't erase what happened, but it does transform what's coming. And when you forgive, you're not just letting go of the other, you're healing yourself. God tells you, I have forgiven you. Do the same. Stop carrying what no longer belongs to you. I'll take care of justice. You take care of living in peace. Sometimes, the enemy wants you to hold a grudge, to live tied to the past. But God wants you to move forward. He didn't bring you here to live looking back, but to contemplate what's new for you. And that new beginning begins today with an act of forgiveness, the peace the world cannot give. There is a peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. It doesn't come from money or health, or even from everything in life being okay. It is a peace that comes from heaven, that dwells in the soul when God is present, when we stop struggling with our own strength and begin to truly trust in Him. That peace is what Jesus promised when He said, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you." John 14:27. It is not an empty promise. It is a reality that can dwell in you even in the midst of chaos. No matter how strong the wind blows, if your ship is anchored in God, it will not sink, because that peace does not mean the absence of storms. but the certainty that God is with you in the boat. God wants you to live with confidence. Do not let fear guide your decisions. Do not give your thoughts to panic, nor your heart to anguish. He wants you to say in the midst of the storm, I am calm, because my God fights for me. Not all is lost. Sometimes we look at our lives, and it seems like a field of ruins, broken relationships, postponed dreams, past mistakes, words that cannot be erased. And we think, how could God restore all this? But listen to this. God is an expert at rebuilding lives. What is ash to you is resurrection material to him. He makes paths in the desert, makes water gush forth in the dry ground. He can rewrite your story. Not all is lost. Perhaps you are only at the beginning of something better. Sometimes what falls away was just something that stood in the way of something new. God doesn't need perfect conditions to act. He just needs a heart willing to trust. So lift your head, dream again, believe again, try again. Because God is not finished with you, He is the God of new opportunities. And if you trust, you will see that what seemed like your end was only the prologue to a much more glorious story. You are not alone on the days when it's hard to even pray, on the nights where silence hurts more than noise, in the early mornings where tears fall without permission. There, right there, God is closer than you imagine. You are not alone. Even if you don't feel it, He embraces you. Even if you don't see Him, He guides you. Even if you don't hear Him, He speaks to you. It's not your faith that saves you, it's His faithfulness. It's not about how much you endure, but how much He loves you, and He loves you more than you can understand. God wants you to know today that your prayers do not fall on deaf ears. Every Our Father whispered in the darkness was heard. Every desperate help me was answered. And although the answers don't always come as you expect, they always come as you need. You do not walk alone, not a day, not an hour, not a second. God is working, even if you don't see Him. There are times when it seems like nothing changes. You pray, you cry out, you wait, and the silence hurts. You feel like God doesn't answer, that He's far away, that your pleas are lost in the air. But listen to this eternal truth. God never stops working. Even if you don't see Him, He is working. Even if you don't feel it, He is moving things in your favor. Even if you don't understand, He is forming something greater than you imagine. God is not still. He works in your life, in the invisible, in the depths of your heart, in what others don't see. Sometimes He doesn't respond quickly because He is preparing something perfect. He doesn't come early or late. He arrives right on time. Trust in this divine process. You are not waiting in vain. Every tear you shed waters the soil where your blessing will flourish. Listen to His voice again. God hasn't stopped speaking to you. Perhaps the noise of the world, your worries, your fears, or your tiredness have muffled His voice within you, but He is still there, speaking to you gently. Sometimes He does it through a song that touches your soul, other times in a verse that appears just when you need it most, or in the voice of someone who tells you something that seems to come straight from heaven. Look again for those moments of silence where your soul opens and your heart listens. Listen to His voice again. He wants to speak to you. He wants to calm you. He wants to guide you. His word is alive. It is balm. It is lamp. It is strength. God continues to speak to you. You just need a heart willing to hear. Everything has a purpose. That wound that marked you, that loss that hurt so much, that no you didn't understand, that wait that seemed so long, none of it was in vain. God doesn't allow pain without purpose. Every experience, no matter how difficult, is part of your transformation. He's using every broken piece to create a masterpiece. And before you know it, you'll see it all coming together. You're not in a story of failure. You're in a story of redemption. You're not in the final chapter. You're on a page of development. The best is yet to come. Because everything, absolutely everything, will be used for your good if you're in God's hands. Your miracle is on the way. Don't lose faith. Don't stop praying. Don't let go of hope. Heaven hasn't forgotten you. Your miracle is on the way. The answer will come. Healing will come. The door will open. God has the power. God has the time. God has the plan. Your job is to believe, trust, and keep walking. Sometimes the miracle comes when you least expect it. Don't stop looking up to heaven. There are blessings traveling toward you, and every prayer brings them a little closer.